Okay, I move on to reason number 4, which is now I move on to how the bank actually process. So earlier on, the first 3 criteria is more about whether are you eligible for the loans, what kind of documents that the bank require from you, or who you are that the bank lend to you. Now I move on to after you submit your applications, so how does the bank process your applications? So now gone are the days where the bank is using way like 8 or 10 years ago, we often hear about if you go to the branch manager, if you know the branch manager may give you a loan of 300,000, 500,000. The branch manager has the authority to sign. So, and typically this is community banking where most of the time you know me, I know you, the branch manager may help you. So you help me, I help you, kind of things. But gone are those days. There's no longer you help me, I help you. Or I know you, you know me. All the applications that you submit to the bank now will be channeled to the headquarters or the credit center to process. And when you channel to the headquarters or the credit center to process, they have different system in place to process our applications. First system that they use is called the application score. The application score is an engine where it scores, you give a scores to each and every one of us. It is like us going to an exam hall where we fill up the details, our answer, then it will be scored, whether it's correct or wrong. Okay, this score engine takes the details of our profile or demographic details. I think all of us are aware that when you go to apply for a housing loan from the bank, we are required to fill up the long, detailed application forms. We fill up where do we stay, where do we work, even to a certain extent of our spouse details or how many siblings or whatever. All those details are actually very important details because those details is actually will give you a score. They use those details to do profiling. They use those details to give you a score. And how does this score affect you? If your score is bad, your application may be rejected. And very often, this application score is being used to judge, for the bank to judge whether what is the suitable margin to be given to you. For example, even though you still have 90% margin or quota with you, but the bank may choose to give you 85% only if your score is low. And very often, the bank also uses this score to assign you an interest rate. Assign you, or meaning to offer you an interest rate. If your score is low, the interest rate for you might be higher than those score high. Okay, again, few tips for you in order for you to score better, or certain criteria that you may ask me. Hey, Gary, I often get these questions where, hey, Gary, what kind of criteria that the bank score higher or give a higher marks? The criteria are like, if you are female, you are married, you score higher. If you are at the age of 30 to 50, you score higher. And typically, if you are staying in a good location, you score well as well. And of course, another thing that you need to take note, and some tips for you is number 1, you do make sure that you are filling up the forms correctly. Do not simply, the first key thing that I want to highlight to everyone is when a banker passes you a form, or when a banker is interviewing you and he's filling up the form for you, do make sure that you give a complete information to the banker so that he did not miss out any important details that may affect your score. And very often also, if you are, for example, let's say you are staying at that location and the house belongs to you, please do put in or declare correctly. Where you stay will seriously affect your score. For example, if you are staying at the very famous location like Bukit Berundong, your score will be low. Okay, and if you are staying, of course, like if you are staying in Damansara, Bangsa, your score will be high. Okay, that is also a very typical thinking or very typical way of bank doing things. Is also similar like us. If you have a friend who stay in Bukit Berundong versus, by the way, with no offense to those who are staying in Bukit Berundong, if you have a friend staying in Bukit Berundong or more outskirts, versus if you have a friend staying in Damansara, so who do you prefer to lend to? So it's a similar thinking, or it's a similar concept when you go to the bank. Okay, if you're staying at outskirts, you may be getting a lower score. Another thing is, if you are renting a place, that may give you a lower score also, because you are always moving. For example, I explained to you in layman term as well, where if today I want to borrow money from you and I'm telling you that I am now staying in Damansara, it's a good location, but I'm renting a place and I always move. You often notice the bank will ask you, where do you stay now? Okay, this house, is it belong to you? How long you have been staying there? So actually those questions is very important questions, because the longer you stay at the same location, and if the property belongs to you, your score will be a lot higher to those that who are renting a place. Because typically when the bank lend to us, the first question that comes to the bank's mind, or when we borrow money to someone else, the first question that comes to our mind is, how do we collect that? Right? So when it comes to collection, if a person is staying at that location permanently, or the person has been staying there, the chances of the person moving is low. That person will get a higher score, because it becomes easier for the bank to do collection. Because sometimes not only the bank will call us to remind us about our payment, if they meet up with a difficult customer, let's say the customer are not paying, is sloppy, and it is not answering call as well, the bank may also invite people to go to our house to invite us to make payment. Yes, the bank will do that. And so that's why it's important to make sure that you provide the right information when it comes to where you are staying. So one trick to you is, if you are moving, or you have let's say you're staying outside, or renting a place, but you do have a parent's house nearby, and you often go back to your parents' house, maybe selecting to declare your parents' house where you have been staying there for long is a better option than you are telling that, or you're staying outside, you're renting a house, or you're renting a room, or an apartment where you're moving. So that is a typical tips for you, in order for you to have to score better. Not only to increase your chance of getting the approval, it's also increase your chance of getting a cheaper rate from the bank. Okay.
So in this case, how do we answer? Like, do you own the property? So you say it's my parents' property. At my website, you'll find online financial seminars, which is I call webinars. I do it regularly, and also a lot of online investment and financial courses, which is conducted solely online. So I'll be waiting for you at my website at KCLau.com. I wish you have a great day. Hope to see you soon. Bye bye.